Well, taking on another full day studio project. So I picked up one of these, the HX Stomp, and the point of this was to pack as many effects units as I could into one small unit because I want to move this up onto the desk. So one of the issues I've got is my knee is totally screwed from skateboarding and I can't even kneel down anymore. So basically all of my pedals down here are useless in terms of like dialing in sounds or changing effects because I can't spend the time down there. So it dawned on me that maybe I should try bringing all of this stuff up onto the studio desk because I really only use it for sound shaping. I'm going to leave my distortion pedals on the ground because I don't really mess around with the sound too much on the distortion. It's either on or off, so that's great for the foot pedal to be down there. But I want to have all the effects up here so that I have a chance to play with the effects a little bit and adjust settings and really dial in some sounds. So it means I got to tear the whole studio apart again and bring everything up here and rearrange my pedal board. Oh well, what are you going to do? Another day in the studio, another project. Well, it's been about 2 weeks since I just finished that rerouting of the studio, and I'm rerouting it hopefully one last time, and I know I keep saying this to myself and I keep doing this, but after using it for the last couple of weeks, I've determined that I want things set up a little bit differently. I've had a few issues that I didn't like, some noise issues, and I'm just going to change things around one final time. And I really took the last 2 weeks to sort of sketch something out on paper and just kind of go, is this how I want it? So that's how we're going to do it today, and I'll show you what's going on. So essentially, I love everything. I love having all the pedals up here. I've been able to really play around with them this week because they're right there and it's easy. And all of this stuff is staying, so we're not touching any of that. Really, the rerouting I wanted to do, because right now I've sort of sent everything from the pedal board up into the HX Stomp, and then from the HX Stomp down into the RC30 looper, and then out of that into a splitter that goes to the 2 amp cabinets. And then the second output of this has gone directly into the recorder here. So the change I want to make is I just don't like having all of this running into the HX Stomp. I'm getting a lot of noise issues. I think it's just too many pedals lined up, and I'm not a fan. So what I've decided to do essentially is make all of this its own world. So if in the future I decide I don't need a full physical setup, this is something I could perhaps sell. So I'm going to run my guitar into a splitter, and the splitter is going to run into, you could think of it as the analog pedal series, and into a splitter into my amps. And then basically the other side of the splitter is going to come up and run into the HX Stomp. And the reason for that is just so when I plug my guitar in, if I want to go through the analog pedals and listen to the guitar out of the amp, that's sort of one route. And then if I'm using the HX Stomp, it'll come up here, into these pedals first, and then into the HX Stomp and directly into the digital audio workstation there. So essentially I'm going to have, if you want to think about it this way, I'm going to have a virtual guitar and amp here. Like all my effects and my amp is all going to be virtual and directly into my mixer, and then I'm going to have like the real thing, and they're basically just going to be 2 routes. So I either go through this and into the amps, or through the HX Stomp and into the recorder. Everything else is going to stay the same. And I think I'm also going to run MIDI from my MC707 to control the time clock on the HX Stomp because it'd be cool. I actually use the drums from this quite a bit to jam live. Like I like to make my own drum sequence and then jam live to it. So it'd be great if I MIDI it over here, then that means that all of my delay and all those types of like time-based settings will be in sync to the drum beat. All right, well, problem here today is the trap door to reroute everything is under here, so I do have to take this stuff off and get back to work. Well, a couple hours later, and all done. And I'm just testing it now. Looks like everything's working. Got everything lined up. Sampler, no problem. MC707. All good with the SPD6. And right now, that's going through the HX Stomp. And then down here, if I kick over my AB switcher, there we go, going through down low. So both the amps are running as well, and then I can switch back if I want, and I'm back up here. Bass 9. C9, working. Check. All right, mic's working, which means TC Helicon's also rocking. And let's switch back over. All right, that's it. The studio is gonna stay like this for a while now. Now it's time to make some music.